7. Ladies and gentlemen, can we make a start? Welcome to this October meeting of the Parish Council. And for those people present, just to confirm that our meetings will be recorded. There's a camera above that end of the room. So you might not be on camera, but you might be picked up if you say anything. And the proceedings of this meeting will go on to YouTube. So it is in the public, it is really in the public domain. Okay. Another piece of business, our normal clerk is not very well, and so we all going to send him good wishes. And so we have a deputy clerk today, Robin, who's kindly stepped in, and Robin is normally the clerk for Liverpool Parish, but he's just here to so we can dot I's and cross T's in our procedural activities. So, receiving apologies for absence, I think we've just...
Richard, you're going to have the public sessions first.
We are. I've asked everybody at the time that were here before 7:30 whether they wanted to speak, and they're only here to listen. So unless anybody has changed their minds and they want to say something now. Is this about Station Road?
No, it's about planning in general.
Can you...
My stepson received this in the post today. It's an invitation to a second public consultation.
Yes.
But I've done a check with other householders in Station Road, and no one else seems to have received it. I didn't receive one. I own the house, well, my wife, we didn't receive one. It just makes me wonder what else is going on without people being made aware of it.
Is that who sent those?
That's come from Cole Residential.
The lady to your left is from that company.
Right.
I will ask her the question. We were not aware of what arrangements had been made by that company to advise you. All we have is a notice which will be going on our notice board, the parish notice board, and another one in Caroline's shop. So I will ask the question, have you sent one to every resident in the village?
We have done a mail out through Zoopla, and they use a database for 40 million people throughout the country who are on the CICA register. Now, we had this problem last time we did a public consultation. We've done everything in our power to make sure that it goes to every property, because there's no interest in us not circulating everybody. Because of the problems, we asked your secretary, and he's put it on the Parish Council website.
Yeah.
We've just put it in the Red Cow before coming here, and it's going in the shop, as you've just said,
Yeah, it's going on
the notice board. Now, we've also spoken to another company today, because the reason it goes out, rather than going out to the occupier, it goes out to named people, and if those people are not on that database, then they don't get it. So we've actually contacted another company, because we had somebody call us today and complain, and we've contacted another company, okay, and asked them if they can just do it to all addresses, dear occupier, rather than name the actual person in the house. So we're doing everything we can to make sure that everybody gets an invitation.
There is no hidden agenda. Does that answer the question?
It does, but it's the second time it's happened now. And it's only purely because it's gone to my stepson, who is 19, unemployed, absolutely incapable of buying a house.
It's just that he will obviously be on that database, so I do apologise, it's no hidden agenda, as you say, and we do want everybody to come, and that's why we asked Mr Culloch if he could put it on the Parish Council website.
Thank you. Any other questions? Anybody else wants to speak before we start? Right, thank you. Right, okay. So, receiving apologies for absence, and I think we just have the two. It's John Harper, who's away, and David Knott, who's working. Do we accept his apologies? Thank you. In terms of the declarations of any pecuniary interest or personal and prejudicial interest, Paul,
Can I make my normal declaration in terms of non-predetermination for the first two applications ending 20 and 22, but for the third one, which ends 21, I need to make a prejudicial declaration because I actually received a notification from Sedgmore about that application, so they obviously felt it was close enough for me to be interested.
Correct.
So I'll just do a prejudicial interest and get out of the room for all those.
Right. Andrea?
I would, because ending in 20 is my property, although the application is not in my name, and also about when we start talking about affordable housing, and we're going to talk about number 2 Brent Street and the piece of land along the A38, because it's my neighbour.
So that's basically 4, I think. Anybody else? Were you wafting a hand?
Well, I was wondering, as Andrea has got a planning application, and we all know that, do we put a personal? No?
We've already discussed it originally. The original. This is a variation
It's not
to.
mine.
This is a variation to
It's not
the
yours, okay.
previous application.
Okay.
I think that's fine. Okay, confirmation of the minutes. You all had copies of the minutes. Has anybody got any objections at this stage? I'm sure you would have notified Owen if there were. So you're, everybody's happy. I sign.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. Got your sales from there. Thank you. Moving on. So, did you want to go and disappear for a short time, Andrea?
Yes, I will, please.
Okay, this afternoon we had a presentation from Property Link 2 outlining the proposals for land adjacent to the A38 for the development of some houses, market value houses rather than affordable houses, with the offer of a benefit to the community in the form of an improvement to the junction at the end of Brent Street onto the A38. And basically there will be an open meeting next Wednesday or
Yes.
next Thursday, useless at dates, where everybody in the village is welcome to go and actually see the detailed proposals. However, at this stage it would benefit for councillors to provide comment on what they saw this afternoon and what they felt about the preferred option of option 1. Has anybody got any thoughts, views, or do we have a proposal to that we as a council support or reject the option? Deadly silence.
Well, I wasn't here this afternoon, so I can't make a comment.
No, you
But I
can't.
was wondering what we were doing, listening to the, I mean, if somebody wants to build houses, why don't they put the plans in?
Well, at this stage, that particular piece of land is not part of the is out with the development boundary, and
Right.
the only way they can get planning is to put it in as a section, whatever it is. Bob, I look for your expertise now.
Do you want me to just run through what the planning policy
Yes, please.
is?
Just
In
to
effect,
confirm it.
basically then, normally planning should be within the development boundary. There is a policy that Sedgmore has, which a number of authorities have, but that Sedgmore has, which enables development to take place adjacent to the development boundary, providing that it is producing something that is for the community benefit. Now, in some cases, that will be affordable housing. In this case, the proposal is an improvement to the highway junction. Another parish, Cannington, had an improvement to their flood defence scheme, that was what the community and their parish felt was the main community benefit that they needed to receive. So in effect, the support of the community and the parish saying that is a community benefit that we feel is something that we want, enables that land to come forward for development. If it was simply outside the boundary and they simply put in a planning application and said here's a number of houses to go on that site, it would not be granted because it would be outside the boundary with no commensurate benefit to the community. So the policy P4 is the one that basically allows that to happen.
Can we just also put into context that any development of that junction out with our involvement and this sort of items we're discussing, i.e. by the Highways Authority, i.e. Somerset County Council, is not going to happen until or such time as there are serious injuries, death, as a result of accidents associated with that junction. And I think all residents in the village would express concern over the current arrangements for that junction, and it is only going to get worse with time. And this is a potential mechanism to get improvements to the junction and to improve safety. And it's about the only way we're going to get it, being blunt.
I would support that observation, Mr. Chairman. We had a very structured presentation from the developer's agent today, and for many, many years the village of Brent Knoll have sought to do something about the Fox and Goose Junction. We know, as you quite rightly stated, that Somerset will not do anything with that junction at all. They don't have the money, they don't have the inclination. We've been told that in writing as well by them, and this is one benefit that the village will get as a result of this proposed development. I also think, from my own point of view, it will bring new people into the village. It will mean that they support our local businesses, they will support our local clubs and societies, hopefully, and it will bring new life into the village as well. It won't harm the overall appearance of Brent Knoll. It is a linear village. This is on the outskirts of the village. So I personally would be happy to propose this, but obviously it's the start of a long process.
Yeah. We just reiterate, we're talking about a point of principle, not a planning application at this stage. So
I would just say, for those people, councillors that weren't there, by building 14 homes of 3 or 4 bedrooms, executive style houses, it will release approximately £200,000, which will be used to develop the new road structure. On top of that, they also are being asked to pledge themselves to this road works for a further 60 years in terms of responsibilities. So it's clear the highways, Somerset Highways, don't, and correct if I'm wrong here, Bob, don't want any responsibility for this going forward. It will be purely at the doors of the developer. It's going to cost them £173,000, they reckon. That will be secured, I assume, by bonds or guarantees or warranties. So it will be an obligation that the developer will have to take on board. So I think that shows their commitment to this development, the fact that they're going to spend this sort of money improving the junction, which will be for the benefit of the village, and exiting and entering into it.
improve safety. Yes, Bob.
was only going to comment on that in terms of, I think the way it would be likely to work would be, rather than the developer actually being responsible for the maintenance, they would have to put up what they call a commuted sum. So in effect, they put that money up, which the county will then do the maintenance, but in effect, it's being paid for by the developer. So it wouldn't be a separate thing. It would be still county engineers looking after it, but it would be paid for in effect by the development, not out of the public purse.
Thanks, Bob.
So I think if Colin's happy, would you like to make that a formal proposal?
I'd like to
Sorry, Peter.
go against that and say I think the village should be presented with the scheme first before we get involved. Not only that, I've not even seen it. I
No.
wasn't here this afternoon.
I would agree with that.
Yes.
That's right.
The
I'm afraid that if we voted tonight, maybe we're all for it, but go down there, the developers will go away and say that the council's for it.
we can propose support in principle of,
Yeah.
of a junction, but we can qualify it by saying, without seeing the detailed planning,
Yeah. And I think that the
and we-
village should be...
because at this stage, even the developer hasn't got detailed plans. I think that's right, I haven't knowledge, yes. So at this stage, we haven't got even access to detailed plans of what the houses are going to
So
be
what are we
like.
worried about? What will...
Other than that, no, the principle we're trying to say is, because this is going to go to an open meeting next Thursday,
Yeah.
we as the parish council support in principle the benefit to the village of an improvement, both in safety, particularly in safety, of that junction.
You have to leave me out of that because I've not even read the report yet. So I'm sorry.
Sorry to butt in, Peter, but I think you're asking us
Just
a difficult question here, Mr. Chairman. I think we're considering proposals. We're not making a decision. We're discussing what our position is. And 6 or 7 councillors turned up this afternoon to hear it, but some councillors aren't privy to
scheme.
the details of the options or stages that were given to us. They also aren't au fait with how the proposal 2 is laid out with the 14 houses. It's a difficult one to decide, and I think probably I would say that we leave our decisions, but they are aired, if you like. They are aired and noted, and the reasons, but we should all probably meet again and to decide at our next meeting once we've had the consultation meeting, which is to be held shortly. I think that's only fair and reasonable. But I think our thoughts, Bob's, Peter's, myself and others have been stated.
Should we state it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That junction is of prime importance before any housing or planning is decided upon.
Well, the whole point is, one goes hand in hand with the other. You won't get the junction improvement on its own. You won't get the houses on its own,
But as
because
Peter,
one funds the other.
as Peter said, I haven't
No,
got a
that's
look
fine.
through. What I have, I've noticed several anomalies already. It says that a bus service in Brent Street, but the position of the bus stop is in the wrong place. Those are just 2 things that I've noticed offhand now. So, without going through it thoroughly,
Okay. So we've aired the point, and we will come to a position one way or the other. And we'll also, by that time, have feedback from the village after the...
Yes.
Okay. Can somebody, Malcolm, would you just ask Andrea to come back in, please? For a very short time, then she'll have to go out again.
Yeah, just for a minute.
I shouldn't sit.
Yeah, just halfway.
So item 4B is affordable housing. Any further decisions and follow-up from our September the 7th meeting? Well, as far as I'm concerned, we are now still awaiting feedback from Sedgemoor's follow-up survey, and that's about it.
I think the position from Sedgemoor at the moment is, as you say quite rightly, that there is going to be a further survey relating to housing needs. But I think again what Sedgemoor, when they spoke to us at the last meeting, were asking for in effect was a steer again from the parish council as to whether in principle they are still interested to Sedgemoor carry on doing that work. Because obviously if the parish made a decision they did not wish to proceed, then there was a point in carrying on doing further work and raising potential expectations. So I think really what they were again looking for was not a decision that the scheme that is there is right or that the detail is right. But the question I think Sedgemoor is looking for an answer for is, in principle, are the parish council still where they were, which was they do wish to proceed with affordable housing within the parish, and that the site that is being looked at is one that we would still expect
To be
Sedgemoor to further look into.
Yeah. Anybody have any particular thoughts on that, please? Or further thoughts, I should say?
Mr Chairman, I would wish that the proposals are continued by Sedgemoor in terms of that development, and we also at the same time look once again at the benefits that we would gain as a village, both in terms of members of the village and also road benefits as a result of this development. So I would be happy for them to consider to continue that survey.
Can we take that as a proposal?
I'm quite happy to second that.
Yeah. Okay. And all those in favour? Did you? Unanimous. So I think that's dealt with that one. Can you leave the room, please?
That's right.
So, you've got your bits of paper, Cynthia?
Yeah.
In terms of the first one, which is 0020, this is an erection of a porch, amended. We discussed the principle of the planning application at the last meeting, and for your benefit, because it's a, what's it called?
But it's an erection.
Yeah, but it's because it's a...
Amended. It's an amended.
No, it's not amended, it's because it's a class 2
It's a listed
building.
Yes,
the
it
listing
is.
officer has come back to the applicant
Yes.
to say would they, rather than have a pitch roof on the porch, have a flat roof, and the applicant has said that's not a problem, they'd have considered it, and they didn't want it in wood. Could they have it in, this is the planning of the listing officer, could they have it in stone? So really this is an amendment to something we agreed on in principle last time, and the only change is going from a flat roof from a pitch roof.
And in fact it's in stone, not in wood, isn't it?
Correct, which is more in keeping
It's
with the
much more
building.
in
Yes,
keeping.
I think it's an improvement on the original
Yes.
planning application, because it's more in keeping with period.
yeah, and the listing officer has actually done a good job.
Yes.
Yes,
Just that I'm personally not very happy about flat roofs, having experienced with my own problems with them.
I did
just
question.
worry about it.
I did question the design with the applicant's partner or wife, I'm not sure, and it would seem because they're using stone, you're not going to get the problem with a flat roof made of wood.
Okay.
So can we accept that?
Yeah.
So can we record that we support it on the grounds of added
It's visual improvement.
visual improvement? Could you ask me? But Bob has to stay.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
The willow tree.
Yeah, the crown reduction to the willow tree, up across Station Road, Brent Knoll, for Mr. Mark Fiddes. Fiddes, I don't know how you pronounce it, but that's how So basically, it's as it is, it's a ground reduction, and normally, as long as they follow the appropriate arboreal practice,
Yeah.
it's obviously acceptable, and
Back again in 2
we
weeks' time.
support
Do it
it, yes.
again.
So can we agree that we support that, please?
Yes.
Sharon? Yes, Sharon.
No,
Thank you.
it's a waste of time.
Good arboreal, supportive good arboreal practice. We go. Chair, please. Anyway, erection of a garage on the site of an existing garage door and shed, 39 Bud Street. Cynthia.
Right, okay. Yes, erection of garage on the side of existing garages, stroke store shed, which will be demolished and replaced by, obviously, a new one. I checked the website, there's no problems, there are no comments. Only by highways, which is standing advice. I don't know, what does that actually mean, standing advice?
Well, things like access to the roadway.
Oh, right, okay, fine. And so there were no comments online about it, and I mean, having looked at the, it's a very straightforward replacement. Instead of having a garage on 2 other little buildings, it will be just 1. So, in fact, it's... I would say that there are no adverse comments made, and I would suggest that we support it.
Thank you. Anybody got any?
Beggars Roots.
Called Beggars Roots.
It's called Beggars Roots.
Anybody got any views, thoughts? Happy to go support
Like
it?
for like, actually, isn't it? Like for like, it's on the
Yes,
same
it is,
footing,
it
isn't
is
it?
on
Well, it'll probably be an improvement if there's 3
Yes,
buildings,
I think
three
an improvement,
buildings
yes.
going into one.
Yeah.
So support that on the grounds of good
What about?
appropriate development.
Yeah. Okay. And that's it.
Thank you.
I think that's it. Yes, we have got those three.
Footpath officer.
Yeah, everything's honky-dory. Mike Carmen has done all the footpath all around the avenue, made it nice and tidy. And I've not had any problems on the phone or anybody stopped me. You got one?
Yes, somebody I know went up the top of the knoll and said one of the steps at the top of the knoll is
Nothing to
not
do with
good.
us. National Trust.
Can we not tell them?
Yeah, we can tell the National
Yes.
Trust, yeah. What is it wrong?
The step's just bad. It's just
Yeah.
gone away again.
But I suspect that they'll do something about that now that the walking season's over and they usually come along and send it to them.
Okay.
That's what happened last
Thank
year.
Is it worth getting Owen to write a note to you?
Well, Owen's got contact, yeah. If we get Owen in contact and ask him if he's got any other, any problems, anybody who are in line to do any repairs on the steps.
Okay. Colin, you were mentioning something about somebody on a footpath. Was it on a footpath in the wood this afternoon? Strange person got it.
Oh, I think that's being dealt with now.
Okay, we don't have to take it any further.
Bob has dealt with it, and also I've dropped information into Tracy so that she can contact Kim Wilcox.
Right.
And what about that, did you go down Bodies Lane?
Yeah,
You know, there's it's a fence next to the gate where you go through into the maize field and the top rail's broken.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, it's completely broken. It was tied together with string,
Oh, yeah.
but it's completely broken now, and it either needs to take taken down or something. Is that our responsibility? No.
Is it a stone?
No, it isn't
No.
a style. It's actually into the.
It's the farmer's gate, and
yeah, it
it's
is.
felt into his
Somebody's
into the cornfield from
Right.
the path.
No, it's not been
So that'll be the farmer's responsibility.
I suspect
I
people
wonder if it must know.
it's
because
not
they're
along
all
the
up there.
footpath that, but everybody
No.
goes in there.
Yes, they do. It
What,
gets
into
over
where
it.
the maze is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because everyone gets over it. You ought to have a little gate there.
It's
haven't you?
not a footpath, it's
It
not a
isn't?
recognised
Oh, isn't
footpath.
that a
No, no,
footpath
no,
there?
no.
No.
But people use it.
Oh, I didn't realise that.
Oh, there you are, so you get shot at.
So nothing else on footpath?
Sorry?
Nothing else on footpath?
No.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Highways.
At the last meeting, I mentioned the crumbling away of the road on the road up towards Barrow, before the first house, first cottage on the left, which is in fact called the cottage, and it's still very bad. And also the road just after the bridge, it's split. I think I mentioned that to you
Yeah, you
before, and it looks to me as if the split's getting bigger, even since the last
That's the
meeting.
far side, is it actually?
On the other side, yeah.
But it's actually on the bridge itself?
Yeah,
The approach.
the approach bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a tree preservation involved.
There's foliage growing
Grass
up,
is coming up.
grass growing up out of it, yes. On the left-hand side going,
Can I report on the same stretch of road, Ham Road, heading out towards Burnham, and there appears to be some sort of leak coming
Yeah.
from a manhole cover. There's a lot of water that's out on the road at the moment, whether that could be reported to the, presumably Bristol Water.
yes,
Where the village sign.
Yeah.
on the corner.
I think that's occurred before in the past.
Anything else, Malcolm, to your knowledge?
No, I don't.
I mean, the only concern I have is we've obviously had a long road closure in Brent Street as a result of the new sewage works that have been occurring. And we currently have a road closure on Burton Row for a whole period of 2 weeks. I have been contacted by several neighbours over the lack of any work on Monday and Tuesdays despite having the road closed. Wednesday, Wednesday, yes, so I think there was a ton of gravel put in the middle of the road or something. But basically, this was associated with the land that we looked at from a planning point of view, where they want to build a house and the drainage, both surface water and sewage, has to go into across the other side of the road. And it appears they wanted a full road closure rather than having traffic lights, which I find incongruous and most disappointing, to put it mildly. I mean, I feel that we as a council ought to say to Highways, who seem to be quite anti-criticism, having seen a response when we wrote to them saying, when they notified us of this closure, I asked Owen to say, could you please ensure that it doesn't coincide with the closure in Brent Street? And the response we got was basically, don't come to us being so silly, of course it won't. You know, I'm paraphrasing what they said, but that was a sort of almost arrogant attitude that I took, which I felt quite disappointed by, to put it mildly. And it has caused people a lot of hassle, because you know, to get to Burnham you've got to go through Limpsham, or the chairman has to go via East Brent and Glasgow to get here and that sort of thing. But that's by the by. But for a fortnight, you know, and they haven't done any work for 3 days, it seems. Very naughty, to put it mildly.
Waiting for the bad weather to set in.
That's right. You know, it's been all week.
Get some overtime.
I don't think we can moan at them formally, but I feel that we ought to. But there we are, just a point of comment. Okay, who did the village green inspection and toilet block? Sir, could you fill it in?
I did it obviously in the month of September. At the time the grass did need cutting, it was too long, but I noticed that it's been beautifully cut now, and it makes all the difference. When the grass is cut, it makes it look a much more pleasant surface. Generally, there were brambles that needed cutting back, and some broken branches towards the bottom right-hand corner. Benches and the picnic tables may need another coat before next summer when the wood's dry, just to keep them up to date. Generally, the village green was exceedingly tidy, and there was very little rubbish. I did pick up a bit and got rid of that. The car park area, was good as well, and Peter and was it
Mac.
had done a good job on doing the new fencing. However, the rear of the toilet block does need tidying up. I did say to Peter that I would put weed killer down. I haven't got round to doing that, but I will do to, because I think if we're going to expose the area, it needs to be tidy rather than just left. So
Well, if you're kind enough to do that, that's excellent.
yes, but it also needs tidying in general. It needs sweeping and clearing because it's now open, as it were, and it looks a bit shabby the way it is at the moment. So I'll try and have a look at that, or perhaps someone would help me have a go at it.
Well, I went up there 2 days ago and cleared all the ivy I took off the fence, and also there was a load of roots that have been collected from here. I got rid of those.
Yeah.
But you may have a letter from somebody soon saying, who put these roots in my garden?
Oh dear.
In the gents' toilet, there was a leaking tap which needs attention, and perhaps that could be advised to Owen so he could get someone to look at that. The floors in the gents' loo will probably need repainting, my guess, in the near future. They're starting to look a bit worse for wear, but the ladies' toilet in general was good. There were some signs that had been left by the loo, but presumably you're going to
Bob's going to
remount them somewhere. So really, the only thing is a general sweep up in the toilet area and tidy up would be a good thing to do.
Were you wanting to say something, Brian?
Yeah, just that I sprinkled grass seed behind the manor.
Yep.
Some cheap stuff from Proper Job, and it was miraculously grew within about 2 weeks, and it's already been cut. And
I thought Sutcliffe were going to do that.
They did, and they weeded it.
We had to pull out a load of rubbish and roots and stuff first.
Buried all the seed.
Then we smoothed it down, and then a week ago they tried to chuck the seed on.
It looks fantastic.
Brilliant.
They've done it. Yeah, it really looks good.
Yeah.
I wish it would do it in my country.
That's lovely. Owen had promised.
I've got the bill here, by the way, £1.99, roughly.
Owen last time was suggested that we have a book for our monthly reports on the green, and I guess he would have probably booked it today, but obviously they'll have to wait. So we just pass this book on. If you've got a written report, I can put it in Owen's envelope that's going off to him, if you like, if you want Colin or if that's fine. Okay, lovely, thank you.
Okay.
Who is this man, Richard?
Sorry?
Who does the greens now?
Last.
Oh,
I'm
August, that's in the other 20.
that's gone.
If you wish to volunteer, Cynthia.
You should all have a list.
We have got a list, and unfortunately
We've
mine's
got a list, haven't we?
We have a little list.
No, I don't know.
I don't have a book.
Have you got a list?
I've got this there.
Owen sent one out at the beginning of the
Yes, I expect I know.
financial
Yes.
year.
There it is. It's on the back one.
So who's next month? Or who's doing October?
Councillor Knott is October, Councillor Herkett is November, and Clark Colwick is December.
Oh, where do I?
Who's likely to see David between now and our next meeting?
I can do that.
Could you just sort of give him a little
No.
gypsy walk, whisper, walk?
Okay, Cynthia, you are March, Bob, you are April, Peter, you are May,
I may do it.
Oh,
May
yes,
not.
May.
June for Malcolm, and July for Brian, August is Bella, Colin is September. And there is a vacancy.
So who's doing that?
That must be you then.
And the snow's on the ground.
Richard,
They're snowing.
A bit too early.
It's 12 weeks of snow, so I won't be able to do it.
No.
That's an excuse.
Item D is the monthly report from GB Sports. Now, I haven't had anything from Owen on that, so I can't comment any further on that. Flood mitigation group, I guess, there's nothing to say.
Nothing to know, but we'll probably have, start with a contact this month,
Yeah, we're getting to
2 or
the,
3 months
I
later.
said that's been remarkably dry, hasn't it?
Yeah, but we'll just give it a kick over this and make sure everybody's okay. Polaris, sorry, we mentioned the drainage in the village. Would that come under highway? I mean, they've cleared the church lane, but they didn't go down through the village. Now, if they think they don't have to go through the village because we've now diverted the ditch across the road and into the Applewilly Green, it's silly because all the houses down through Brent Street still drain into the ditch that runs out the other end of the village.
They didn't do the work in Church Lane as a part of what they're doing for this new sewage pumping station. Was it part of that?
Usually this time of year they
Related
go
to
all
it.
through the village and clearing out the...
It's not even connected.
It's not even connected, no, okay.
So I don't know if we should mention it to the Brew drainage.
Yes, please. Get Owen to do that, if we could, please. Parish surgery and police matters. Colin, anything this afternoon of import?
Yeah, Kim Wilcox was here and Bob stayed as well. We had Pauline Chadwick who came to discuss the potential and her concerns about lighting on a horse exercise arena. Is that the right thing, Bob?
Yeah.
Down in Crooked Lane, but we advised her that we hadn't seen any application for floodlighting, and Bob was going to check the terms and reference of the initial planning note to see whether in fact what was allowed as regards lighting. So we just await that one. And she also discussed potential housing development concerns about it in the village, which we took note of. That was all. No one else turned up. Does that summarise it okay?
Thank you. Well, we have no clerk to comment on, and I know he never mentioned anything to me to pass on to anybody, so we can move on from that. Again, circulation file, I don't think there's anything, I haven't had anything from Owen, so I got...
Richard, can I just mention one thing in terms of to do with the clerk?
Yes.
I don't know whether anything's been done about the ordering of the wreath for the Remembrance Sunday, because obviously if it's not done before the next meeting, it won't be time. So normally it's, I think, organised through Sally.
Yeah, Sally, I
So
think.
it's just a question of somebody contacting Sally to make sure they do it.
I usually pop across and tell her, but I had instructed to tell her. But
Would you be kind enough, Peter,
I'll do
on
that.
behalf of the council, go and see Sally?
Then if she lets us have, because she usually does it online, and last time, well actually, yeah. She'll let
but
us have.
she's receptive to people knocking on her door.
You know
Yeah.
that.
No, because I'm
She
not
goes
going to
on,
be
she'll
here.
give you, if she
Then
gives you the...
you just keep
Delegate somebody to do it.
Who's prepared to do it on my behalf?
Well,
No, John.
What is the date that he generally does?
British Legion.
What's the date of the remembrance?
It's 11th of November.
Is that the
It's
nearest
Sunday.
Sunday? What's the nearest Sunday to you?
13th.
13th. Yeah, I think that's okay.
It'll be mine, won't it?
Yeah.
If you can't, could
Yeah,
someone...
no, I'll do it on the
You
13th.
got your door out.
Yeah.
My uniform is... my uniform's in the wash.
Okay. You can't do
So
it.
who's got a date?
13th.
13.
Difficult month, that one. Right. Consultation event
The
flyer for
13th of
website.
October is
November.
Thursday, from November.
November.
No more clue.
Get it right.
11th of the 11th.
That's it.
So sorry. The 30th of November is a Sunday.
This is what we want.
You will not grow old.
We do.
We have got the event flyer that's going to go on the notice board for next Thursday, I beg your pardon. That's for the housing.
Oh, right, yeah,
purpose.
There's already one in the post office shop window.
Is there already one there?
In the shop window.
Yeah, I thought.
It's a bit concerning, really, how they buy these mailing lists, though, which are clearly not suitable.
Yeah.
Why did they not just contact us and drop one in via the BKN or go around the whole village and just do it
Or even
back
or
to the
even
occupier?
Or even contact Edgemore.
It's
because
dreadful.
Theirs is more up to date.
Yeah, I think they need ticking off about that.
Right, can I ask Bob just to talk us through 7C, please?